periodically we also, invite parents and the kids to take them to the bank, how does the branch operate, etc. That generally draws in a lot of crowd, because there is a lot of curiosity around checkbooks, because parents sign checkbooks, so they need to know what the checkbook is. Most of the children are able to take out money from the ATM now. So I think it is not in so much of a systematic manner that it is chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, but it is certainly about guiding them and helping them navigate to what they see, because as he said, they are aware of their surroundings. To assume that they are not aware of their surroundings, to assume that they don't hear what we are hearing, and they are not interpreting what we are interpreting, is not true at all. And I think an honest sort of discussion and dialogue at home, it helps. Because many of the times when they go to school, there is a lot of peer pressure that we see. That he bought his father bought a bigger car and his father bought a smaller car, and so there is a lot of competition on that. I think it is important to start a dialogue and say that what does a bigger car means, because the issue is about trade-offs and choices. It is not really about money, but it is about trade-off and choices. So what is the kind of money that you are spending on your education, for example? It is an important thing to let them realize that look, this is the amount of money that you are spending on education. Why are you spending this much money on your education? What you should do? So, and thus the value system and the money system must get integrated somewhere. Exactly. It is not so much about we tend to take it on one extreme on capitalism and crassness, as if money is bad. And on the other hand, we say that people should not at all touch money. Like we were grown up in the same fashion that my parents, certainly I can talk about myself, they would never give us any pocket money. So whatever you want, you tell us and we'll give it to you. But somewhere that whole issue of responsibility of being able to make a trade-off between spending today and spending tomorrow has to be taught, because that really is life actually.
You want to say something?
I just wanted to add a small point that that's an extremely good initiative that ICICI and probably some of the other banks have also taken, in terms of taking both the parents and the children through the banking process, for them to understand how the entire thing works. Children obviously will not be able to grab or grasp everything about it, but at least some basic idea of how this entire process works will, my belief is that it will do a lot of good for them, maybe in the future. Also, one of the other things that like I said, my firm view is that it's extremely important. Even to this day, after having done all that we have in our respective careers, there are so many things conceptually about finance that we don't know for sure. And that is not something which we could even afford with our kids, especially this generation where each one wants to get better than the other. This is something which clearly is a firm no-no, I believe, with most of us parents. So one of the other things besides all that different mediums have, all the kind of initiatives different mediums have taken by way of the banking, the advertisements, etc. There are also a lot of these games that one gets. It's maybe not even expensive. As simple as a monopoly or a business, we used to call it in our days. That again talks about money and the fact that you use money to purchase a property. You've got to have money that you buy a property, and then if you rent it out, again you get what is called as rent, etc. All those, it helps them give, on one side, understand the importance and the value of money, and second, it also may not be in a direct manner, tries to make them understand different concepts associated with finance and investments, where okay, you rent out a property, you get rent, you put it in the bank, you save, you get interest, money grows over a period of time, so on and so forth. So all these conceptually also they get to know. So I think all these kind of mediums would certainly do a lot of good, and India is a progressing kind of nation, and everybody around the world, we've seen how one of the core strengths that the outside world considers India to have is a deep sense of knowledge and understanding and the intelligence as compared to probably what we'll get to see in the Western countries. So all these kind of things only adds up to that, and definitely our kids will it will help them move one step ahead of the others. I mean, it will help in the overall scheme of things, is what I believe.
Is there a question or two that anybody thinks they'd probably like to shoot at the panel? That includes children as well. You have a question?
It's not so much of a question, but just to add to all that you said, it's more like a comment, really. And particularly since we have some sort of graduate kids there. One interesting thing I read was Bill Clinton had written a book in which he described how he and his wife give money to their two nieces every month. And the condition of that is that half of it has to be given out to charity. So they learn how to give. One is learning how to earn and spend, but the other is also learning how to give. And so they give them a monthly allowance of which half of it has to be given, and they have to explain who they give it to and why they give it to them. And it's pretty interesting. I mean, you can have a customized version where you can, especially for kids of that age where they know what they're doing, you learn to give a little bit, you can learn to invest a little bit, and you can save the rest or just spend the rest whichever way you want. But that's a very nice way where you can actually give pocket money with part of the spending also pre-decided, and so that they learn exactly how to spend it with some freedom as well.
That's an excellent idea. Excellent. And I used to get a lot of children to show them what is at the back of an ATM. Right? That is there somebody sitting in who's giving out money from the bank, or does it happen on its own? And that used to be a crowd puller. And people, I think, kids especially, would love to understand the mechanics of it, rather than, and the mystery would get resolved. That ye piche se paise kaise aate hain? How is it that there's somebody sitting at midnight?
I still want that.
Yeah, you still want. Okay, so are we good? I think the panels. Thank you very much for taking your time out on a Saturday afternoon. But I think it's been a very useful discussion for me personally, simply because I think one of the things I'm making up in my mind is that maybe every Sunday I must try to allocate about half an hour and call it the money hour or something, or money half hour with my kids, and figure out a way of making it interesting, and never lose that habit. And I think your comments on giving as part of earning is again talking to his points that Sebel was making on values, that it can inculcate amongst the people. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks so much.